Hey everyone, how are you doing? It's Jay here and welcome back to 7 Days to Die, Alpha 19, episode number 10. Can you believe it? We're 10 episodes into this series already. I am very, very happy about that. Thank you for supporting it so far. I'm over the moon with the views and stuff, and I've been getting some good feedback as well. And yeah, we've got a lot of big plans in place for this series. But to start things off, we have got a little bit of bad news. Let me just show you this farm area first. As you can see, it is expanding. We're going to continue to expand that. That's not the bad news. The bad news is our preparations for Horde Night for Horde Day number 21 is it's hit a bit of a snag. So basically, I mentioned in the previous episode that my plan was I was going to build sort of a spider base. Now, what I also mentioned was I was planning on jumping into a separate world, like a creative world, so I could have a play around with the materials, see what kind of stuff I'll need, and basically see if it was possible. And it is possible, we can do it, just not in time for Horde Night 21. See, I vastly underestimated the amount of materials I was going to need in terms of concrete and rebar frames and all that kind of stuff, and the actual time it took me to build it in creative was pretty lengthy as well. Bearing in mind, obviously in creative I don't have to farm for any of the materials, and it still took a little while to put together. So that is one part of the bad news for that. The other part of the bad news, which isn't as bad, is I lost a bit of footage from the journey back from the sort of desert city that we found on day 16. So I was recording on the way back, as I always am, for in case anything interesting pops up. And there was one thing that we did record because we found Trader Hugh. And it's always good to have more traders, and I found the place. It's a really nice trader, and I recorded going around his base and sort of looting the area and stuff, and unfortunately I lost the footage. Now thankfully there wasn't anything particularly amazing that we found there, so there's nothing fantastic that we've lost from the footage, I guess, because I would have probably put it in sort of like a time-lapse type thing. But still, I don't like losing footage, and unfortunately, it is what it is. But at least now we know there's definitely 3 traders that we know the location of, so that is always good to know. They get restocked on day 19. But that's enough bad news for today. I have come up with a concept for Horde 21, which we do have the supplies for, and it also links back to our plans that we had with Horde Night. The first one, number 7, which is this one, and the second one, which is our wrestling ring that we had over there as well, which at some point, thanks to a comment from Ed, I am planning on turning into more of a wrestling ring. So we're going to lose the wooden ramps around the side, which we put on there to help with the zombies. I'm going to put some curtains around the outside. I'm going to rig up some lighting around this place. I might even get a little commentary desk. I don't know, we'll do something about that. But I'm going to use what I learned from that one and from the first Horde Night, and we're going to combine that into the Horde Night for in 4 days time, and I'll show you what that's going to be in a little while. But today we've got a lot of things we need to do. We need to finally make a crucible. We've had the recipe for a little while, so we need to look into what materials we actually need to make a crucible. We need to continue to craft ammo because, as you know from the last Horde Night video, we burned through so much ammunition. We're going to need a lot more. So what is our ammo situation at the moment? Not particularly great, but I have been getting bullet tips and bullet casings and gunpowder and stuff, but we are running low on coal. So I believe there's some bullets being crafted in here. Yep, there is. Fantastic. And in here, I believe we've got some more bullet casings to be made, and would you look at the timing of that? Couldn't have timed that any better if I tried. It's almost like I planned it out. And we're going to need a lot more coal today. I've also moved the chest that we had all the clothes to kind of make this one. So I've kept some rebar frames, some wooden frames, some iron that we can turn into these barbed wires, which we've got a lot of. I'll explain the need for those very soon. And then I moved all of our clothing into these lockers. So we've got the glasses that we can switch between if we need to boost our intellect or our fortitude or perception or anything like that. We're currently wearing the Lucky Looter ones. And in this one we've got some stuff for more warmer climates, so we've got like the desert stuff, and then if we need to go to the snowy area, we've got like hoodies and jumpers and stuff. Looks a bit smarter in the lockers. I bought them from Jen, she had them going on the cheap. Also bought ourselves a cash register. We haven't got much cash left because we've been spending it all, but that's what we've been storing our money in as well. I just like doing little things like that just to add a little more creativity to the world. Also, our farms have been coming in handy. We've currently got 8 meat stews ready to go, so our food situation is massively improving. So it's not all bad news. There are some good things that are happening, but we do need to go and find a lot of coal because, like I say, this is all we've got. We're pretty low on the rest of the stuff as well. So today is going to be one of those days where we are going to be doing a lot of grinding. We're going to be doing some preparation for Horde Night. And while we're here, let's have a look what we need to make a crucible. I believe you can just make it at the bench, but what do we need? Oh boy, okay, 100 forged iron, mechanical parts, stone, oil, and clay. What kind of forged iron situation are we rocking right now? That's not a lot of forged iron. Okay, lots to do today. Let me get some preparation work done, and then I'll meet you back with a new plan. I really like this tree. Do you want to know why I really like this tree? It's just over near our base. It's a nice bit of shade. Yeah, that's lovely. That's not too bad. But look what is right next to this. Nitrate powder, iron vein, another iron vein, and another iron vein. This is one hell of a find. I'm going to spend a lot of time in this section digging away. We've got lots of iron to gather. This is a decent start. Maybe our bad luck from losing the footage and just our horde base not working out as we'd hope and all that stuff. Maybe all that can be put behind us. I'm going to go ahead and dig a bunch of iron. I'll see you in a little bit. Alright, so everything's been gathered to make ourselves a crucible. So we've got the 20 oil and mechanical parts, 100 forged iron, 1200 stone and 900 clay soil. That's going to take 4 minutes. We've got a bit of bullets still in there, so that's still going to take a little while, but that's fine. Don't need to pause any of that right now, and we'll go ahead and set that off. Perfect. Okay, so Crucible has been ready to get going. Can we make steel tools yet? I'm not sure if that is something that we are able to do. Let's have a look. Nothing seems to be unlocked on that side. We've got iron pickaxe. Is that also something that needs to be made in the bench? Let's have a look. So we can't make the auger, sadly. We already know that. No need to rub it in our face. So what do we need for that? Steel tools schematic. Is it not a skill that I can unlock? Ah, okay. Well, that's not too bad. Hopefully we'll be able to figure out those tools sometime soon. But for now, I'm going to work back on the little hole I've got going. Did almost forget, we bought the recipe, well not we bought it, we found the recipe rather, for Blackstrap coffee. That is going to help us mine a lot more efficiently, so may as well make 2 of those, because it seems like I'm going to be mining quite a lot tonight, so I want to know how good they are. I've never used one before, to be honest, so let's grab one of those. Does it have any... So stamina regen is 25%, cold resist is fine, we're not really in a cold area, and it lasts for 6 minutes. That's not bad at all, you know. That's going to help us mine a lot through the night. Okay, right. I'm going to go ahead and see what I can gather from that hole, and I'll meet you back in the morning. It's the morning of day 18, and for some reason or other, we seem to end up with a lot of wolves at our door. So I just heard one as I was getting sorted with supplies, but you may have seen as I opened the chest there, just what iron we managed to grab while we were in our little mining hole. Now, bear in mind, we only took down one of the nodes, so there's a lot more iron over there. But look at that. 8,232 bits of iron to be exact. So I'm going to go ahead and put the 2,000 part in here, because we can keep that for later. But we're going to need to smelt down this bit, and I'm going to need a little bit more wood, but I'll worry about that in a minute. I've also brought with me some materials, because I want to show you what I plan on doing for Horde Night 21. I mentioned I plan on kind of combining elements of this with elements of the other one. And did I just hear another? Oh my god, would you look at the size of that thing? Leave me alone! Oh boy. Wow, that was huge. That's a big boy. Oh, this is what I mean. For some reason, my base seems to be a beacon for these kind of beasts, and they just show up at the most inopportune times. I mean, I'm thankful for the meat. It means I don't have to go out hunting very often, because this is meat that I can actually use. But did you see the size of this thing? That was an absolute beast. Anyway, yeah, going to use elements of that, as in we're going to use the corridor idea, and also elements of not really defending the base as much as we did with the previous one. So I'm thinking I'm going to do basically one long corridor and stand at the back of that corridor, and it's kind of like, well, I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. So this is the idea for Horde Night 21. What I'm doing currently is I'm laying a bunch of rebar frames, and I'm wondering how long I want to make this thing. Maybe I think we'll go 15 long, which is there, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3. We want to have the 3 gap in the middle, that's fine, and then back along this way. And you're probably wondering, Jay, this means absolutely nothing to me right now. Well, bear with me a moment, my friends, and I will explain to you the craziness of what my plan is. Now, you've seen how difficult the hordes can be. The first one, our base essentially took care of it for us because we were over-prepared. The last one, we weren't prepared enough. That could have went horribly wrong. In fact, in times, you've seen how many times the zombies made it over. And do you know what? I'm thinking maybe we should make this 5 wide instead of 3. Yeah, let me do that real quick. So this is going to be the plan. I think I might make it a little bit longer, just so that you know, we've got a little bit more space to play with. I think it's currently 15 long. Why not take that to let's say 21. You might wonder why it's an odd number, but it just makes things easier for when I'm mapping things out in my head. And yeah, basically we're going to use elements of Horde Night number 1, which was the corridor effect, and then elements of Horde Night number 2, which was the me in a box effect, and see if we can combine the two and control where the zombies go. Now there are, I believe, ways and methods you can look up on sort of the zombies' paths, and you can learn a little bit more about how they behave and stuff like that. And I have times in the past looked at that kind of stuff for previous Horde builds just so I can get an idea of how they're going to sort of behave. But I don't know what changes have been made. I haven't looked at any of that stuff since Alpha 17. So my theory is if I make one long corridor and I thicken the walls up to the point where they'll think, well, it's pointless me trying to break through this bit here. If you know, he's left an open gap here for me, I may as well go this way. And I'm hoping that I can essentially use this corridor as like a last stand kind of situation, and I will stand back here and we'll put sort of a barrier in here, like maybe with the bars again, and we'll put some barbed wire along the corridor, because Horde 21 is going to be a lot harder than the last one. We're going to have potentially spitting zombies in this one, which are the cops, and they can just kind of hit you from anywhere really. They can hit you through the bars as well, so that's going to make that difficult. And also the potential of glowing zombies, which are just a lot more difficult to take down. You may have seen on our previous AK we had something known as a rad remover, and that is basically to combat the radiated zombies, because they can essentially regenerate their health as they are fighting you. So as the hordes get more difficult, we do need to be a little bit safer, but at the same time there are definitely horde bases out there that are way better equipped for what Horde 21 is going to bring than mine will ever be. But as we've said before, the whole point of this series is to essentially test the limits of what we can and can't get away with, and if it fails, then it fails. If nothing else, it'll make a good video, won't it? So this is just to give you a quick idea of what the layout of it's going to look like. You may have noticed previously when we looked in one of the chests all the barbed wire fences we had. I believe I even mentioned it, and that is essentially going to be just for this corridor. Now they won't last forever. They will eventually get straight to the bars, and as you've seen previously, once they find a path where there is no barbed wire, they will just go through that. So we need to be well equipped ammunition wise. And yeah, I like the idea of having Horde Nights with an element of danger in them. I think we've discussed that a few times before. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and get the frames put in place for this one. We're probably going to need to make some more cement because we have nowhere near enough. And I'm probably going to put a floor in this thing as well, just so it looks a little bit better. Okay, so the sheer amount of cement this thing is going to need is going to be insane. We had, I believe, around about 8 or 900 cement on us, and all we've done is put in the back wall and this one corridor, and we have 60 cement left. It uses 20 cement per block, as you can see, but also you may see the amount of XP we're getting just off upgrading this sort of stuff. So this is a great way of getting a lot of XP, which is obviously going to help us out with levels and things, but I'm going to need to craft a lot more cement for this thing, and that may require another trip to the desert at some point. So basically the rest of today is going to be spent doing a lot of mining. We need a lot of coal so we can make more bullets. We're going to need a lot of sand so we can get some more cement made. So yeah, there's a lot to do. So I think I'm going to head back to the base, get prepared for what cement we do have, take that over to see Jen because she has the cement mixer in her place, so we can get as much crafted as we possibly can. And then off the back of that, we'll see where we end up next. So I'll bring you back in a couple of minutes. So I gathered everything that we had in storage when it came to sand, stone and cement. The cement is what we've been picking up from the blue bags as we've been going around building, so that's why I've been gathering all that. But as you can see from here, we can only mix 710, which isn't going to do very much, and that is because we are really low on sand. So I will set that off and come back for that later, but we need to spend a lot of time now digging up sand. So it may be worth either another trip to that desert or see if there's any more nearby. This is the kind of stuff that we can dig up as well. So we've been digging that up while we were doing a bit of work on our mining hole last night, but there's not a lot of it here. So I think it's going to be one of those days where I have to go back to the desert. Now on the way there, I think what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to grab as much coal as I can on the way. And to be honest, this is what my next couple of days are going to look like. So there's not going to be much looting in the next couple of episodes, unfortunately. I will try and do a little bit from here and there because I do like to sprinkle that in. But you do tend to find that the further into the game you get, there is going to be a lot more grinding that needs to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff back in here so that we don't accidentally lose it while we're out and about, because that would not be good at all. And then I'm going to set off for the desert. Alright, so this time when we're heading to the desert, I have been a little bit smarter. I have got some food, I've got some water, but more importantly, I've changed over our clothes. I've put on the leather duster, which will give us heat resistance of 20. I took off the overalls and put on a pair of shorts, which again is going to give us some heat resistance as well. And this is going to make us a lot more comfortable in the desert. So now I'm going to make my way there, if I can remember which way it was. Did we go... Ah, there we go. So we need to go east. Right, okay. See you when I'm at the desert, I guess. Found a coal deposit on the way out of town, so I'm going to grab this first. You know how it is. We have to stop for this kind of stuff. So we made it to the desert. So I managed to drop off the coal back at base because I realised before we set off that I didn't grab any Blackstrap coffee, and I figured we were going to be here quite a while. So I brought 10. I also brought some extra food, some extra water. I don't think I'll need those, but I've got them anyway. So I'm going to be spending most of the day pretty much just digging up sand. We're going to need to take back an absolute ton of it. However, I've just noticed on the top of the screen there, the little icon for Trader Hughes. So it's almost... I'm almost glad that we lost the footage now, because I was upset about it earlier, to be honest, but I figured now that we're here in the desert town, I may as well just have a little drive over to Hugh and show you his place, because from all the traders that I've seen, his is definitely the nicest that I think anyway. I think it's definitely the one that looks the coolest, and you can see it just... Oh, bird, go away. We'll deal with you in a minute. Stop following me. Out. Okay, right, do you know what? Screw it. Where is he? Oh, and we leveled up as well. Perfect. Well, I need the rotten flesh. I suppose that is fine. Would you look at that? I hit something with one bullet. Who'd have thought we'd ever see that day? Anyway, right, let's go and have a quick look at this trader. Look at this place. This is a lot cooler than Jen's place. Jen, we love you. You've been very helpful to us. But look at this. Part of me's always wanted to see what it would be like to take on a horde in a place like this. Unfortunately, you can't spend the night at traders, otherwise that would be something we would have done already. But I wonder how difficult it would be to build something like this, and if it's something we could actually pull off. So maybe at some point we'll do that. But in the meantime, let's pop in and see him, because this is, like I say, is my favourite trader of them all. I have went and cleared his inventory out of stuff. There's a place up in either that tower or that tower. It might be that one where the door's open that has a munitions box. And there's also one over the back there. You can go down this well. This is what I want my mines to look like when I'm finished, because these mines look fantastic, and at the moment mine is quite literally just a hole. But look at this. This is the kind of mining area I would love to have over at our base. So maybe this is something we can take inspiration from and kind of put together at our side. Now, I thought that we could go this way and it was like a secret sort of tunnel that had some... How did I miss that box? Ooh. Oh, well, I'm very happy I missed that box. Fantastic. I thought this would be a good way to kind of come and like stash stuff, but if you see up there, this is actually where Trader Hugh is. I thought maybe he had a secret stash we could get to, but that is actually where he has stood in his little shop. So I'll run back round, and there is something you can do. I've already done it, so I won't be able to do it now, but I can show you just in case you're not familiar or you weren't aware that you could do this if you do play this game yourself. We'll pop in and see Trader Hugh, and you'll see he has a little safe behind him. I mean, look at this place. Isn't it just... Doesn't this feel just loads nicer? Isn't this the nicest place we've come across so far?
Well, look what the cat dragged in.
Good to see you too, Hugh.
Coin.
I don't. I left all my money at home. That was the trapdoor we've just saw, but look at this. We can actually reach his safe from here, and you can just pick it with lockpicks. I've already picked it, and there was a couple of things in there, nothing major to report back. But if you've got some lockpicks on you, you can actually pick his safe, and then if there's something in there you don't want, you just sell it straight back to him. But I'm going to leave this episode here. We've got a lot of grinding to do, so I'm going to spend the rest of the night out digging through the desert, grab as much sand as we can before the morning. I haven't searched any of this area apparently. I'll go ahead and have a look in here, see if he's got anything worthwhile. We'll take the lead, we'll take that tin of food, and those glass jars. Yeah, fair enough. Okay, and then I'll bring you back for the next episode, which of course is going to be day 19 and day 20, and then obviously the one after that will be Horde Night. We've got a lot of preparation to do with this Horde. It's essentially going to be a lot of me doing mining, and to be honest, no one really wants to watch that, and that's, you know, that's just the way it is. So I thought I'd bring you back here just to kind of show you what I was going to try to show you at the start of the episode, and yeah, let you have a look at what Trader Hugh's place is like. But there's a lot of places in this town we haven't been to, so that's something we can visit, but we haven't really got the time for that now. That's going to be at a later date. But as I say, I'm going to head off into the desert. I'm going to do a lot of digging, get some cement made back home, and hopefully this Horde Night is going to be a pretty good one. I'm expecting more trouble as we did with the last one, but we are going to be a little bit better defended. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, go ahead and leave a like. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. That would be awesome. And of course, share the video with your friends. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care.